Good afternoon and welcome back to YEME Empowerment, the Empowered Life channel. Hope that you're all doing well this lovely Friday afternoon. The sun is out and I think spring is finally here. So I'm going to go out in a little while with my family. We're going to go out on our bikes and we're going to go and ride around and enjoy this little bit of nice weather. Hopefully it will last the weekend. So I wanted to come to you today with a book review. Now it's been a little while since I've done one actually, and this is my first one on this channel, The Empowered Life. If you don't know who I am, my name is Yvonne Ellis, and the Empowered Life channel is part of YEME Empowerment, which stands for Yvonne Ellis Media Events. And everything that I do on this channel, or everything that I bring to you on this channel, is about inspiring and encouraging and empowering you to live an empowered life. And that could include things that I'm currently doing in my life, taking you out and about with me when I start doing my vlogs. It could be affirmations, tips to help you to move from where you are now to your next level, and basically anything inspiring and empowering. This is what this channel is about. So as I said, I am going to do a book review today. It is the first one on this channel. I haven't had a lot of time, which I'm really upset about actually, to read as many books as I thought I would have done by this time in the year. I mean, we're in April and I think I've probably read about 4 or 5 books. So as of this week, I have started to pick that back up again. Usually I read two books at a time. Usually one which is more like an inspiring one, another one is more kind of a learning one. So this week I'm going to pick that back up. And as I mentioned in the last video, I've just recently, a week ago actually, stepped out of my part-time job that I had in paid employment, and I have stepped out into the unknown to pursue YEME empowerment and to do things that really I want to do to empower and inspire people. So this week is my first week where I've actually had the time off, and I'm going to start picking up my reading again. But anyway, I read a book. This book I read, I think I started reading it on Christmas Day actually. I was sick with flu and I couldn't really do much, so I picked this book from my bookshelf. How I came about this book, it is by Rene Carayol. It's called Spike. How I came about this book is last year I did a leadership management course, the Institute of Leadership Management. I did a diploma in public ministry and women's service and women's life, and basically I did this diploma last year and I graduated, and that was one of the proudest moments of my life, by the way. But basically every month they send through a magazine called The Edge, as part of being a member of the Institute of Leadership Management, and basically they sent through this magazine, and as I was reading I came across, they had a section for books to kind of give you knowledge and inspiration about leadership. And this book by Rene Carayol called Spike was one of them. So I ordered it off Amazon. And as I said, Christmas, I started to read it. Now, it did take me a little time to read this book. It is it's a very empowering book, but it's a lot of information, a lot to take in. And it's quite concentrated in some places. So it's one of those books where you couldn't just really rush through and read it over a space of 2 or 3 days. You really had to take your time to kind of, because he had things in there, you know, little tips of knowledge and inspiration to help you discover who you are. So you have to take that time to kind of just kind of think about that and to kind of reflect on that and what it means for your life. But Spike basically means finding what you're good at. And I found this book to be a really good book. Rene, I'll give you a little bit of his backstory. Rene grew up in Gambia, came from quite a poor background, and you know, but always was always very ambitious and everything else. And him and his family came over here, I think in the 60s. The father made a decision to come to London for a better life, so he ended up coming over to London. I think it was they ended up settling like in the east of London. He there was a lot of moving around for them. They moved around different places, and this affected his education somewhat. But he managed to find his way through living in London. It was extremely hard. There were some very hard circumstances for them. At times, they were extremely poor, sleeping on just the floors in a flat, and it was really, really tough for him. But his childhood actually didn't deter him from the things that he really wanted to do, and it came about through different things. He had a succession of different jobs, and from all of them he learned different things, and he was willing to make himself available to the learning process. So he did lots of different jobs, and there was a point where he realized that he had talent and different things that he could offer. And one part that resonated with me was the part where he talked about where he gave in his notice despite needing an income to be able to continue on with his life. But he still stepped out because he was so passionate about, the things that he believed that he could do. There was a part in the book where he actually did step out of a job, and by chance, opportunity, he got invited to be a speaker at a conference. And he did this speaking event. It was a last minute thing. He did a speaking event, he stood in, did a fantastic talk. But it was on having a conversation with people afterwards who were top in their field, that had done speaking events, who were professionals and everything. It was on having that conversation he realised that he should never have done anything for free, because the top people who were there, who were being paid, were shocked at the fact that he had done this, delivered such a great talk, but had not been paid for it. And that marked the start of his speaking journey as a public speaker. He created this niche for himself, delivering talks and different things like that. What I liked about him, he gives some really valuable insight into things that could help you to discover your spikes. One clue, he says, is something that you're really good at. So he talks about the spike clue, and he says, spikes, if someone is continuously outstanding at a particular activity or task, that is a huge clue as to their spike. So he was talking about this. So for me, I realized that my spikes I've had them for years, but I never activated them. So mine were public speaking, event management, creating workshops. I'm quite a creative person. I'm able to inspire, empower people to change. So all these things were my spikes. These are things that I was consistently good at, things that I was confident at. And it's something that I've talked about before, because in these areas that I am good at, I mean, if you go in the description box, you will see the link to my website. Everything you see on there is things that I know that I'm good at. And these are things I've been doing for years. So even if somebody doesn't believe that I can do any of these things, my spikes, I know I am confident enough to say that I'm really good at these things. I'm good at writing. I've wrote a book, and I'm writing other books. So I know that these are my spikes. And he talks about that. Looking at within your own life, things that you are really good at, things that you know that you're good at, that you're really good at. Maybe you don't have the time to pursue them the way you do, because life has a way of taking away from our passions and stuff. If we get caught in the wheel of 9 to 5 working, and it's a job that is not something that is enhancing your spike, it can take away from your passions and dreams. But everybody, I believe, has something that they're consistently good at, and that that they're talented at, and that is your spike. That's what he's saying. Our spikes are things that we are good at. What is it that you're good at? That is the question, and that is something for you to explore. Another thing I liked about this book as well is that he talks about the need for mentors, people who can encourage us along the way, but also who can go to with issues that we may be facing in terms of our career or things like that, who have knowledge, who have experience, who are seasoned in their own fields. And the thing about mentors is they don't necessarily have to be doing what you're doing. They could, for me, I mean, I one thing I would like this year is to have either a mentor in a political field and also in a business field, because for me, I believe that I would gain valuable knowledge and insight from these types of people. And in the political field, I kind of have somebody who I kind of can turn to with stuff in terms of the stuff that I've been doing. But literally this year, I'm going to ask, I have two people in mind who I would like to be my mentors, and they are in completely different fields to me, because that's one of the things he talks about, you know, how gaining insight and knowledge from people who have a lot more experience than you, as I said, not necessarily in the same business, can really help your growth and help you to get to where you need to go to. And I love learning, and I love learning from different people, and you know, hearing what they have to say about things. You know, everybody can learn something from someone, and mentors are an excellent way of doing it. So that is what I'm going to be proactive in doing from reading this book, is to actually ask these two people to be my mentors, and I think that they would really help me. Also, as well, what I really liked about this book is that at the end of each chapter, he gave little pointers, little hints and tips to help you along your way, things that you could possibly do to help you to grow yourself, things that you could possibly look into. And also as well, he talked about as well in you know, utilizing other people's spikes. So obviously, you know, I'm not good at everything, you know. Same way that you might not be good at everything. You know, nobody's good at every single thing that they do, but you might have a team of people around you, because he talks about that places that he worked where he had a team of people around him that were good at other things, and how their spikes complemented his, and how they were able to get results in the things that they were doing. So, you know, it is good as well to also utilize other people who have spikes that maybe that you don't have, to help you to get to where you want to go, or to achieve a result, a desired result for whatever it is that you want to do. So that was really good, because at the end of each episode, each chapter, there were things in there that were really helpful. One major key for me in reading the book as well, he was talking about being the kind of leader that you want to follow. So for me, I know what kind of leader I want to be. I want to be somebody who people are inspired by, people feel that I care about them, that will bring out the best in them, to develop them, you know, to challenge them. You know, that is the type of leader that I want to be, and that is the type of leader I want to follow. I wouldn't want to follow a leader that isn't, like, not invested in their team, doesn't care about the little things, doesn't look for opportunities to explore their potential. That's not the type of leader that I want to be. I want to be an inspired leader, and I think that in part I do have that, but there is still many things that I am learning and growing on the job, because I have been a leader for a while in the other stuff that I've been doing, but it's going to take a time before I get to where I want to go. And one of the things I've learned about leadership is that people have to buy into you first as a person before they buy into your vision. So that is a journey that I am still on. But that's what he talks about. Be the type of leader that you want people, that you would want to follow, that the type of leader you want somebody to follow. So that was, again, a really good nugget of truth, and a major key, I think, in being able to be a successful leader and successful in the things that you want to do. Rene went through a lot of things. He, besides going through poverty and hardship and a lot of different things going on within his family dynamics, he lost his brother to drug use, and he was savagely murdered. And that had a profound and deep effect on him. It was his stepbrother, I think, that had the same father, but not the same mother. And, you know, that had a real effect on his life, and kind of really kind of helped as well to shape his kind of mindset, or the choices that he wanted to make with his own life. One of the things he shares about his experience is that he had a desire to do well. He desired to do well. And that's one thing I have to say that makes a huge is one of the huge points in being able to move forward or back with your life, and that is the desire to want to do well, and wanting to and understanding what it might take in order to desire to do well. I can relate to Rene in a way, because yeah, I went through hard circumstances and went through different things, but those experiences shaped me into the person I am today. And one of the things I always say is that I don't let my past experiences define me. In the book as well, he shares stories with other people share stories about how they found their spikes, and how Rene helped them to become the person, to get to where they wanted to be as a person. One of them was this boxer, and he was saying that my experience has taught me that you have to be incredibly mentally strong to pursue your goals. People will always tell you you can't do this or you can't do that. The majority of the time, you're doing far better than the people trying to put doubt in your mind. And I can definitely resonate with this, and I would definitely say this is the most utmost truth. The people who have been the most negative to me, who have something to say about me, and it's not being boastful or anything like that. I've put my money where my mouth is. My past experience of going through the things that I've been through, whether that's been sexual abuse or being in care or coming from a dysfunctional background, people always try to use those experiences against me, and define my future by those experiences. But here I am today, doing well. I am a success. And I measure success, as I always say, by the goals and standards I set for my life. So, never let anybody tell you you can't do this and that. You have to, and it's true what he's saying, you have to have a strong mental mindset to be able to pursue your goals. Once you have made up your mind, there's nothing more powerful than having a made up mind. And once you make up your mind, there's nothing nobody that can stop you from doing it. It may have obstacles or challenges, but you can get it done. And I thought that quote was quite powerful. Okay, quick fact from the book. Rene shared in the book of a BBC survey of 70,000 self-made millionaires across the UK, and basically it came up with some striking results. Over 49% of them were dyslexic, and some 59% of them came from dysfunctional or deprived backgrounds. Now, if that isn't from somebody like me, that is motivation, because I am one of these people that I know I will be a success. I know that I am going to be a person of influence, a success, a person who will empower and help other people's lives. And also, I believe that I will also one day become wealthy. Not that that is the end or the beginning goal, but I know I have the talents, experiences, and skills to design stuff, to be able to create wealth, create income, and to empower other people. I have all those things. And this just shows you your background doesn't have to determine your future. Those statistics speak for themselves. Those people didn't let their disabilities or learning disabilities or their background become a factor in where they wanted to head to be. Because for me, one of the things I've learned coming from my background, I left care without any education, but one of the things I've learned is through hard work, faith, opportunity, and sacrifice, you can get things done. You have to be in that mental mindset, as I said, of saying, right, I know it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be difficult. I know that even my closest and most dearest people next to might not support me in what I'm doing or the way that I've done it, but I'm going to do it. And, that is one of the things that should be an inspiring thing for anybody, that doesn't matter what background you come from, it can be done, but it might require work on your behalf. So all in all, I would definitely recommend this book. It's a fantastic book. It is a book where you will learn a lot about leadership, inspiring leadership. You learn a lot about some of the things he shares, some of his regrets, some of his things that mistakes that he's made, things he's learned from other people's mistakes. You will learn about how he rose above his background to get to where he is today. He's still a much highly requested public speaker. He's worked for the World Bank. He's done, several high profile jobs. He's a success, and he's used his spikes and other people's spikes to get results. And if you want to be inspired to kind of know about how to even find your spikes, if you don't know what they are, I would definitely recommend this book. As I said, it is quite a concentrated book. You might have to read and put down for a little bit. This book took me nearly 3 months, actually. I'm not going to lie, because it is quite a concentrated book. But even in between, I was still reading another book or doing other things anyway. So yeah, this book, I would definitely recommend it. If you want to grow, if you want to learn, this book will help you to do that. I will leave a link to the book in the description box. I will leave a link to the book, to my website, YEME Empowerment. If you want to hire me to do anything that is on that website or use any of my services, please email me at info@yemeempowerment.com. But as I said, this is a good book, and I would recommend it. So I will see you on the next video. Take care.